I caught Waxahatchee live a few years ago. In fact, it was a long time ago. It was like 5 or 6 years ago now. It's so long ago. And it was a nice, pleasant little gig. It was one of those really tiny, just like closed in gigs that you know what they're like when it's just a really small artist at a really small venue and everyone's just kind of like, you know, clumped together. And it was good. She put on a good show, honestly. Her and her band were pretty nice. And ever since then, honestly, I've been pretty interested to see where she goes. I've never really loved an album from Waxahatchee though, and I was kind of hoping this would be the one that I would just be like, yes, this is the one. But I wouldn't quite say it's ended up being that way. In fact, I'd say it's about as on par with most of her discography that she's put out thus far. It's once again a pretty chilled out Americana type album, honestly. There isn't really much going on in the way of like interesting and developing musical styles. It is very much playing to what she's done all this time all along, and I think for what it is pretty solid. So I don't know if it's going to be something that would put you off if you've not been a huge fan of what she's done already. You're probably not going to like this, but if you've liked what she's done up until this point, you're going to probably like this. A bit of a redundant thing to say, but I guess I'm just pointing out the fact that it is very close to what we've gotten up until this point. I would say there's certainly some Big Thief vibes coming on this album too, definitely the UFOF album. A lot of tracks definitely remind me of that, and that warm feeling that you get from listening to Adrian Lenker's voice, although Adrian just has this like wisdom-filled voice that just lures you in instantly, and I'm not sure if Katie quite has that same warmth to her voice, but it certainly is kind of on its way to sounding very similar to that, honestly. I really like the way that tracks like Lilacs flourish on the chorus. It just brings out this really like sunny, vibrant sound that I think works really well, and no, some of the other tracks don't really go for that, which I think is a bit of a shame. But I think if some of the choruses popped a little bit more, this actually could have been a really strong album, like in the ways that they do on tracks like Lilacs and the track like War, which is just from start to finish one of the most I guess instantly like gripping tracks on the album. I think the lyrics on Can't Do Much are pretty clever though. I think the idea of you know, suddenly hitting that point of obsession with a person to the point where you're like, well, what can we do now? Can't do much now. I just think the idea of that's pretty funny to me, and the way she sells it on the track too. She's talking about how like she's like kind of going a bit crazy and stuff. I'm assuming this track is about Kevin Morby, the singer-songwriter that I think they've been together now for a few years. I am sort of getting the impression that it is about him, but even regardless, like, you know, I think it's a really good track, that kind of encapsulates that feeling of love where it kind of just all hits you all at once. I think the way she brings that to the forefront is really quite clever. The thing with this album though is that there are a few too many moments where I'm just not really as excited by the lyrics just because of how the way the tracks sound. Not to say that they sound bad, but there is just this very simple presentation running through this album. It's very much Americana acoustic guitar type stuff, and while Katie has a great voice, it just only goes to a certain point where it's interesting. Like tracks like Witches just aren't really that strong. It's got this repetitive guitar melody that really doesn't get me excited by the time, you know, you hit the 2-minute mark on the song or whatever. Not necessarily 2 minutes exactly, but it just gets to a certain point in the song where I'm just like, change it up a bit. There are a few tracks as well where vocals follow a very simple, straightforward pattern, and again, I'm just waiting for her to change things up a little bit, and it's just not always that engaging to listen to. As I've already mentioned, tracks like War, fantastic. Can't Do Much as well. Like, there are some great moments here, but it is once again a Waxahatchee album that I'm just craving more. I'm just thinking, yes, this is enjoyable and good from start to finish, but there are only a few moments that really like shine through as being great moments, and I'm just waiting for that Waxahatchee album to be like, yes, this is the one. And I'm just not sure we're gonna get it for a little while, because I think she's kind of in a little bit of like a safety net at the moment, playing to what she knows, and obviously it works for her fans, and there are people out there that like it, but I'm just not sure she's bringing enough to the table to make me completely fall in love with anything she's put out. And this new album's pretty much in that same ballpark, to be honest. 6 out of 10 from me. It's solid. It is solid. It's a good album, but yeah, just waiting for something bigger to happen. Just keep checking out her albums, and I think I'm gonna hit a point where I'm like, all right, you know, I've heard everything I've got from her, and I don't know if we're going to break past that point, but we'll see. I do like Katie though. She's a talented vocalist and singer-songwriter for sure, but I'm just wanting more. Thank you for watching my review. Let me know your thoughts on this album if you've listened to it. If you haven't, check it out though. I think you'll probably like it if you've you know, piqued your interest, if that even makes sense. Any of the things I've said, listen to it, let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Ooh. Have a good day. Goodbye.